Everybody, this is the Millennial Prepster here, and we're going to be talking about some stuff that's going to make a lot of people upset. So let's just jump right into it. So, like this video says, this is going to give you 10 reasons that are 10 things that are wrong with carnist channels and just the carnivore movement as a whole. So, without further ado, let's just jump in. Start number one. I have very hard time with carnist channels and carnist influencers that make it 110% transparent that they've never raised a chicken or a duck or any animal in regards to a animal husbandry situation ever. These people are going to try to tell me about health and talk about animal welfare and environmentalism and all this stuff, and it's 100% apparent that they go to the grocery store and buy their packaged animal products. I find that to be, 100% ridiculous, and it makes it very hard for me to take you guys seriously, for starters. Especially when we start talking about influencers that are trying to make money. I get it, and I want you to make money, and I want you to do your thing. Totally stand behind capitalism. The issue is when you're questioned on your, on the information that you should have, especially if you're wanting me to, spend 3 to 5 times the cost that I could get meat locally pound for pound, or at a grocery store pound for pound, when they ask you, what the breed of the animal is, and you have no idea. It makes you look kind of like an idiot. It really does. We don't know the difference between a Cornish cross and a Black Sussex, or a Yorkshire and a KuneKune, or a Hereford and a Jersey. If you don't understand those terms, you don't know what I mean. That is the problem. You are creating the problem that we have in the world today in regards to everything that you claim you stand for, everything from health, animal husbandry, environmentalism, the whole 9 yards. So yeah, that is one huge problem, which leads to number 2. Number 2, I've never understood why carnists totally disregard animal breed, species, and genetics for unfounded blanketed nutritional values and statements. What does this mean? Like I said, if you're one of those influencers that has really nice hair and really good eyebrows, and you want me to spend 3 to 5 times the money on your poultry, your beef, your swine products, and you can't tell me the breed of that animal, but you just slap on a generic, well, this is chicken, this is the nutritional value, beef, this is the nutritional value. It's just, I don't understand it, because if you know anything about animals, you know that there's a difference between a Yorkshire and a KuneKune. If you've seen the 2 animals, if you interact with the 2 animals, if you know anything about the 2 animals, the idea that they have the same nutritional density and the same nutritional values is so ignorant, it's so ridiculous, it makes you look like a complete idiot from anybody that is a food producer that knows animals. But to you, since you don't have the knowledge, you don't see the difference. You don't see how that's an unfair statement to say, oh, this is pork. This is what pork is, or this is what chicken is, right? I mean, they're all the same. No. Like every plant, every animal is different and specific, and every animal is going to have a different nutritional value on it. The strawberry you're going to get at the grocery store versus the strawberry you're going to get at my homestead, it's not going to have the same nutritional density. The pig that you're going to buy in the grocery store versus the KuneKune or red wattle that you're going to get on my homestead is going to be totally different. And so not understanding this and realizing this is one of the big things that, if you want to take diet and you want to take this whole idea of food seriously, you gotta know the differences. Number 3, the hyper focusing on political brand politics, aka free range, pasture raised, all this stuff. There's currently no legal definitions for free range or pasture raised here in the United States of America. Therefore, these terms are used on packaging with no unilateral definitions for the customer to trust. So why push the narrative? If you're going to say it's all about pasture raised, grass fed, all that stuff, that's fine. You can say that. I'm not saying disagree with you. But if you're buying your food at the grocery store, you can't verify that. If I'm a farmer and I have cows on pasture, what's to say, hey, during the day they go out and pasture and they do their cow stuff. When they come in at night, they have all the grain they could eat. And to me, that is pasture raised. Well, to you, that may not be what your definition of it is, because some influencer has told you, oh, pasture raised, you only eat grass or this or that or the other. Yeah, I'm sure majority of what they eat is probably grass, but when they go in, they have all the grains they could want. So, you know what I mean? There's no definition of it. So them pushing this as some kind of healthier alternative is ridiculous, because there's no transparency, and it's unblanketed nutritional. I mean, it's literally unblanketed nutritional values, because you have no idea what's going into that animal. But yet these influencers want to Oh no, my farm is the best. I would never support a company or a ranch that did this, that, and the other, but there's no way to double check it. They want to hyper focus on these brand politics and this packaging instead of doing what really matters. Okay. Number 4, the ideology that plants are somehow poisonous. Well, I hate to break it to you. I don't understand. That's completely unfounded. The longest living people come from the blue zones. I'm somebody that derives from the blue zones. We eat a considerable amount of plant products, and I can tell you that we're not vegan, right? I definitely eat a lot of animal products too, but we eat a lot of plant products, and we have the oldest living centenarian populations the world's ever seen. There's more centenarians in the blue zones than any other place in the world, which means we have people that live over 100 years old in more frequency than any other demographic or population of people. And we eat a lot of plant products. So are we poisoning ourselves? Because we are. We're doing it for success. It's just this narrative that it's the same thing with vegans, right? Carnists and vegans, you're going to realize, do any kind of amount of research, they're the same. They're 100% the same. They just have a different curve on things. Vegans, meat is poisonous, it's going to kill you. Carnists, plants are poisonous, they're going to kill you. Everything else, it doesn't matter how I came to that. That's what I believe. You need to listen to me. It's complete bullshit. Okay, let's go on to the next thing. Number 5, the dependence of the same industries they mock and criticize with veganism. So what do I mean by that? Well, I'm going to read you off some real quick statistics, real quick stats for you. We'll talk about it and we'll move on. 3 companies control more than 80% of all beef industry. This would be JBS Swift, Tyson, Cargill. 4 companies control 66% of the pork industry. Smithfield, Tyson, Cargill, JBS, Swift. You noticing any similarities here? 4 companies control 60% of poultry industry. Pilgrim's Pride, Tyson, Purdue, and Sanderson Farms. Those should sound familiar to you. And then the few corporate entities that can control dairy industry. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the words Dean Foods, Kraft. They pretty much dominate the market in that. We're looking at government subsidies alone for agriculture. You're talking about $220 billion. And yes, some of those subsidies are in animal agriculture. We, as the United States of America, subsidize agriculture, both plant and animal agriculture, more than we subsidize oil. So when we're looking at this, if you are a vegan and you buy your food at the grocery store, if you are a carnist and you buy your food at the grocery store, you're supporting the same companies. The same companies that do animal products are the same ones that are in the plant agriculture sector. Your mock meats, all that stuff, it's all the same. You're giving your money to the same people. You guys yell at each other, argue, get mad, and you guys go to bed with the same people. It's just the unfortunate truth for you. All right, so let's move on to the next one. Number 6, the claim that you care about human health, yet have no knowledge of the aforementioned of dependency and the aforementioned of where your food derives from. What do I mean by this? Well, people get into veganism if you get into it for the right reasons, because you get it for animal welfare. You care about animals, right? Feeling based. I feel for animals. And then your health goes to crap. Go figure, right? Didn't see that one coming. So you're a vegan, your health goes to crap, and then you're like, oh, my health is bad. So then you get this carnist that says, well, you need to care about yourself. So then you start caring about yourself, and you go carnist. But you're doing it, you're buying, and you're told to buy these animal products that you have no idea the breed of the animal, you have no idea where the animal's coming from. You don't know any of this stuff, and yet this is supposed to be your healthiest you. Like I said, you don't even know what you're putting in your body, and you're trying to sell me on human health. Next one, the claim to care about animal welfare. Yet you have no idea the welfare of the animal, what they eat, nor do you know anything about how they're bred, what they're consuming, how they're processed, the whole 9 yards. So you claim to care about animal welfare because you want to make up arguments against veganism and how it's better for the animal. Well, in both aspects, whether you are vegan or you're carnivore, the animals are still the same. You haven't done anything to help animal welfare. I hope you realize that. And that's what I don't think people don't understand. If you buy plants from a grocery store, okay, you obviously don't care about animal welfare because you're killing a lot of animals. Now, in the same breath, right, in the exact same breath, the animals that are currently living in the vegan system are currently living in the animal agriculture system as we speak. And if you're buying your food from a grocery store, you have no idea how they're treated. You have no idea where they're coming from. You have no idea what they're eating. You don't even know geographically where the hell they are. And you're telling me that you are some kind of advocate for animal welfare. Okay. All right. And then even if you do say, well, I buy them at a small farm. I go to a small farm. I get them a local farm. Okay, can you show me the process? Describe me the process in which the animal was dispatched. If you care. If you care, you should at least be able to see it once. You should at least know where the animal's coming from and how this company that you're getting, or this farm you're getting from, it does it. Or how they live. Like, if you really care about animal welfare, you should know that. But just saying you got it locally, I mean, that's good. Happy for you. Do your thing. But it doesn't change anything as far as the animal welfare portion if you can't prove it. Nothing's validated is what I'm saying. These people that make claims, you have these carnists that makes claims with no validation. So what? Am I supposed to take your word for it? Take the word from the guy does if you know the breed of animal they're eating? Yeah, good one. All right, number 8, 9, and 10 are going to be probably the most controversial, but let's get into it. Number 8, a lot of these carnists, they push a raw meat narrative based upon unfounded claims that it's the healthiest way to consume animal products. And like I said, there's no, like, it's just like veganism. If you're not a raw vegan, you're not a real vegan. Obviously, I guess in most circles, if you're not eating raw meat, you're not a real carnist. You see the similarities here? That being said, there's no science that I've seen that proves that eating raw food is healthier for you. I can't find it. It's unfounded. With that being said, even if you did find a study that was 100% that we know without a shadow of a doubt eating all this raw food is good for you, you're still unsure what breed of animal it is. So you can't even get me real good nutritional data and values because we don't even know what animals you're eating if you buy it at the grocery store. You don't know the species of them. And then next off, you have no idea as far as the condition of the animal, how the animal is treated, the husbandry aspects of it. I mean, staph, bacteria, that stuff's real. That stuff really exists. And if you're talking about you're buying food from co-ops like Tyson, you're getting a low-quality animal. So that has been kept in its own filth, etc. Like I said, these vegans have a point when they go undercover and they show this stuff. They got a point. You know what that point is? That stuff really does happen, and that's really gross, and that's where a majority of people get their animal products from. You know, so when they show you this, fear porn or animal cruelty, animal, slaughterhouse porn shit. I mean, that stuff really exists, man. And so, carnists, instead of in saying we know if that's the case, let's make it better, they just double down and they expect you to eat raw meat from those horrible, horrific animal slaughter places, or buy it local. Like I said, I still don't know the breed of it. I just know the sound it makes. Right? All right. So number 8, this hyper focusing on this raw meat narrative. Number 9, the hyper focusing on beef. Now I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this. I don't want to spend too much time, but I could do probably a whole 30-minute clip just on this alone. So here's my problem with this, and it kind of goes to number 8. Number 8, and as far as the whole raw thing, I'm not saying don't eat raw, and then I don't want you to think that what I'm saying is don't eat raw meat. If you want to eat raw meat, be my guest. I eat raw meat all the time. I eat sushi all the time. I do. So it's not that I have a problem with the raw meat, but to say that if you don't eat all 100% raw meat, you're somehow not a carnivore, or you're somehow you're eating unhealthy is ridiculous. And it goes to 9. That beef is this ultimate food. Well, beef is a culinary name for meat from cattle, particularly skeletal muscle, I'm sorry. So we know that beef is cattle. But the problem is, what is cattle? Okay, cattle by definition is a large ruminant animal with horns and cloven hooves. So what does that mean? Cloven hooves. Well, it means a split toe hoof and is ruminant, so it eats grass. So we could be talking about everybody from the Bovidae family, which would include bison, water buffalo, antelope, wildebeest, gazelles, sheep, goats, all that stuff. Well, remember it said large. Well, what is large? What is your definition of large? Because you have Dexter cows from New Zealand that stand about 34 inches tall. That's pretty small. And then I can show you boar goats that topple scales, anywhere from 300 to 500 pounds. I would say that's a large ruminant animal if you compare it to a Dexter cow. Are you saying a Dexter cow is not cattle? You see how generic this this class of the word cattle is. So when you're saying beef, right, it's so generic. You don't even know what you're talking about, and you're telling me that this is somehow the superfood. What about salmon? What about New Zealand blues? These are rabbits. The rabbits I raised. They had more B12 pound for pound, ounce for ounce than cattle ever will. More protein content too. Khaki Campbells. I can just name breeds of animals that are also really good for you. Are you saying salmon is bad for you? Well-caught salmon, is that bad for you? How about trout? Is that bad for you? Can you not eat fish? Can you not eat chicken? Can you not eat any of this other stuff? You know what I mean? And so this idea that if it's not beef, you shouldn't eat it, or it's that beef is the ultimate food, like I said, it's based upon no real life, no real life data. Like I don't get it, you know. And we're looking at this, and when I see this in general, this is what I see. When I see carnists making these claims, this is exactly what I see. Okay, I go to a typical carnivore channel, and they're telling me all this stuff. So this is what I see. I see a guy on screen telling me, you need to go and you need to get high quality beef, right? What does that mean, high quality beef? How do I know the quality of it if I don't know the species of it? And they're saying, here's a coupon to my online store. Buy it at 3 to 5 times the price that you would get at a box store. Can't tell you what species it is, because trust me, I've asked. Can't tell you the species or the breed. I can't even tell you where the farms are located or the name of the farms. But trust me, I vetted them. They're pasture raised, which has no actual real meaning or definition. I have no idea, and I can't tell you where they're at, but they have a good life. They're pasture raised, whatever that means. And they're slaughtered humanely. I don't know how, and I can't describe this process to you, but just trust me, they are. And they're transported in oil. They're packed in oil, transported in oil, sent either to a store or to your local house in oil. You're going to put it in your oil-powered, refrigerator, and then you're going to take it out little by little, and you're going to eat it raw. And this is supposed to be the epitome of what health is, the epitome of economy, the epitome of environmental friendliness, epitome of animal welfare. I'm sorry, your diet's not convincing me. It's not convincing me at all. And then number 10, just like I say to vegans, I'm going to say to the carnists out there, why don't you advocate for food sovereignty? Why not? Well, why not advocate for people to grow their own food? Why don't you do it? I've never understood it. Because if you claim that you care about environmentalism, you care about animal welfare, and you're caring about the economy, and you're claiming you care about health, why don't you do that? Why don't you care about food sovereignty? Why don't you advocate for people to grow food, even if it's not cattle? Why is that? Why is it that at a minimum you don't advocate that people at least understand where their food is and where it comes from? I'd say that's the beginning of the battle. Have your viewers demand to know the species of animal they're consuming. Demand them to know where, in fact, this animal is coming from. You know what I mean? And so if we're going to have these real conversations about health and food, these are real conversations that we need to be having with our viewership. We need to be telling them and explaining them. It's okay to ask what species of animal you're eating, for crying out loud. Gosh, you can't believe how much that irks me. Like, how do you not know the breed of animal or the species of animal you're eating? It blows my mind. It really does. Because there's a difference. Every plant is different. Like I said, the strawberry that you get on my homestead is different than the strawberry you're getting in the store. You don't believe me? Grow your own strawberries, take a Brix meter to them, and take a Brix meter to the ones you buy at the store, and tell me if there's not a quality difference. It's the same thing with animal. Every animal's different. Every animal's unique. They're going to have different nutritional values. Every animal's different. There's different kinds of animals. You have milk goats, you have meat goats, you have milk cows, you have meat cows. You have lard pigs, you have bacon pigs, you have meat pigs, you have layer hens, you have meat hens. You know what I mean? Like, every animal has a purpose. And to pretend like that doesn't exist is to totally, is to totally put your middle fingers up to everything that is real and important, right? So there you go. Hope you guys liked the video. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them below. If you're upset or you feel like I'm totally wrong, please explain your case. Leave it in the comment section below. If you're really, really upset with me and you want to have a discussion online, let's have an online discussion. I would love to have open open forum conversation on this and really talk about, talk about what we should be talking about, I feel, and really going deep and diving deep into the matters of things and how to give people the opportunity to make the most informed decision. Like I said, I'm not here to bash on anybody. I'm just here, like, this is basics. I think anybody that listens to this can understand that all I'm doing is let's go back to the basic, guys. Especially if you're going to be buying meat from some kind of influencer online with really nice hair, at a minimum, if you're going to be spending high dollar per pound for the animal product, I think it's very fair and reasonable to know and ask, what species of animal am I eating? Where did it come from? Explain the terms that you keep harping on as far as pasture-fed, grass-fed. What implementations were put in place to verify it is what you're saying? Because me just taking your advice for it because you're bashing on another demographic of people doesn't cut it for me. Maybe it cuts it for you. Doesn't cut it for me. Well, hope you guys like the video, and I mean it. Anybody want to have an online discussion or want to, try to go tit for tat on this subject, be more than happy to oblige you. As always, guys, long live the Republic.